All right, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for my back and bicep day, and well, let's get right into it. Hit some PRs here. I didn't hit PR on chins. In fact, I think I may have even lost a rep at some point here, but I'm not that worried about it. Mainly because I'm doing so much bicep work and everything else kind of PR'd that, again, just don't really care that I may have lost a rep. I also did a little more of these dead hang, probably a factor, but yeah, I've adjusted my diet today after this. I feel like I'm getting really thick, really full with what I'm doing, but since I'm trying to get leaner, I do probably need to adjust some stuff. I'm probably eating, too much brown rice and things like that. I'm going to switch over to a little more healthy fats and keep enough carbs in to train, but see if I can just kind of bring that water back down. I feel like at this point in the game, though, I'm just filling out no matter what I do. Now that calories and stuff are a little bit higher, training is dialed in, I'm used to all the extra conditioning work, that again, I'm not that worried about it. So at this point, I feel like just for my overall outreach and look, if I can just make that waistline look tighter, we're going to be in a really good spot. So added a little more bicep volume today, and that's something I'm going to kind of point out, these muscles that I know I need to bring up a little bit. Biceps, triceps, upper chest, all that stuff, I am going to do volume. And it's not that I think they need to be disproportionately developed for anyone. It's that because of my own training history, like my quads are just blown right back up as soon as I'm doing heavy squatting and other stuff again. My quads, my lats, all those things, like they're jacked, right? They're jacked. All that. It doesn't mean we don't train them though. And that's something I saw some silly comments. That almost needs to be its own thing later. Someone said you should just really take all those things down to the bare minimums and focus on your arm specialization, which is silly. You don't do that. You just add a little more for the arms. Like, you don't stop training stuff. We need to be jacked all the time. Everything needs to get big. I think people have silly ideas with that. Look, just try to train stuff a hair harder if you have a history of not training it. But you shouldn't try to focus around your genetics on that. And that's something I see some really extremely good bodybuilding and physique coaches point out, by the way. Like that is a really bad idea. That's a good way to be mediocre. They're like, the divisions in bodybuilding and things will be determined by your genetics. Okay, you shouldn't train different. You should just build everything. Now, in my case, I have some muscles that are slightly lagging because of my training history. But you don't worry about that with genetics. For getting aesthetic in genetics, just get jacked and then get lean. So, here we're hammering down on the biceps. So yes, everything is a bicep exercise. My Yates rows, my chin-ups. So all my back work, because I have a history of building a back, tons and tons and tons of back work, pretty much have, as some people point out, pro quality back, right? Especially if I get leaner. Doesn't mean we don't train it, but I am making sure that my biceps get extra work because I'm at a point where I just need to keep bringing those arms up. Again, as that waistline gets tighter, arms will come up. And that came up too. I did measure the arms, unpumped yesterday. Keep in mind, I'm leaner. There's people like, I bet you they're whatever. Like, no, guys, my arms are not going to measure what you think because guys lie about their arm size. They fake it. So I grabbed one of those tapes that locks itself, tightens itself around it. Right, you hit a button and it just zoop. And we came to 16 even. Now, granted, it was just, in front of me, done. It wasn't side bicep or any of that. And no pump. It was just chill right there on camera in the middle of a live stream. But, yeah, I think being closer to 17 would be better. Get leaner, get them up to 17, be in a good spot. So, arm work. What do we do here? We PR'd on the rows, right? Normally I've gotten 12s with that weight, 10 pounds lighter. So I went up 10 pounds, right? Went up 10 pounds. Curls, these we went up 10 because I got 13 reps last time on these, on all the sets. I managed to somehow squeeze out 12. I went up 10 pounds and squeezed out 12s. Not sure how I did that because, again, a little more weight. Now, granted, I didn't do a whole lot of pausing at the bottom, but I felt a ridiculous burn, felt a good pump, good stretch, and that's what we want. Kept the form strict on these things though. All my curling, notice it's real strict. And the other two, incline curl and then preacher bench, kind of force you to be strict. So again, keeping this stuff nice and strict, nice and strict. That's the name of the game here. So, hammered my arms really hard. So yeah, really, if we count the chin-ups and rows, it's 15 sets for biceps today. It's a lot. We're up into high volume. But because of the history with arms, do I need it? Maybe. Now, if we only count the isolation work, which some people don't want to count a Yates Row towards biceps, and I can understand that. We're at 9. We're at 9. So somewhere, depending upon how you count it, 9 to 15 sets. But it was all hard. These are all pretty well limit sets. Nothing here had more than a rep in reserve. A lot of it's to failure. Right? A lot of it's to failure. A lot of it is really failure anyways. I just kind of stopped as soon as I knew I didn't have that last rep. I didn't try to grind it. As soon as I got to the bottom and the rep wasn't there, it just wasn't there. But again, it's not like I held back. So that's one of the things before when I did the higher volumes, that tendency to hold back. With this, I kind of told myself I wasn't going to do this extra volume at the end. I lied to myself so that I would push all my sets, right? Push all the sets. And I think like on this one, this was a PR. So the final set of incline, because I told myself I'm not going to do any other curls, even though I was going to do it, I lied to myself. I managed to squeeze out one more rep. I've got 12s, 3x12 with this weight last time before. It's a newer weight. I managed to get 13 reps. I forced that last rep. Really felt like I wasn't going to get it. I managed to grind through it. So again, we forced a single rep PR. So we PR'd on the Yates rows. We added weight. Since I picked up above 12 reps last time on the strict easy bar curls, we went up 10 pounds. Managed to get 12s instead of 13s. And then picked up one extra rep on the incline curl out of all the total sets. Then I went over to these, and I haven't been able to get this sort of volume on the dumbbell preacher curls. I think this really highlights my arm lockout. Like that is a stretch for me. I know, you'll see some of them I pause at the bottom, and you'll really see that, oh wow, this is pretty well where he's at. Right there, see the pause. That was full extension. So when people say, why aren't you locking on this exercise? I am. But I managed to get 12s on all these. 12s on all of them. And I like preacher curls a lot. I don't like the dumbbells because it takes forever. But in terms of the burn and then making sure the balance development, because it's so strict, although a lot of times with dumbbells I say you'll compensate, it doesn't really help with imbalances. But when it's stuff like this where you're locked in, like this, it absolutely does work. Absolutely works, and it will do that. So again, making sure we're getting some balance, because again, that left bicep, I've previously torn it, and I've had a piece of it taken out. The doctor took a little chunk of muscle out. So it technically has fewer muscle fibers. So making sure, like if I'm going to do a final finisher like this, leading with it, letting it determine my reps. But sometimes when I've done that on these, I actually can't get as many reps as the right. That's happened. That's happened to me a couple times. Today we did okay on it though. But again, making sure we're hitting all these possible bicep and brachialis angles, right? Every single possible angle got work for the bicep and the brachialis today. We did a lot of sets. 2 compounds, 3 isolations. Okay, this is really arm specialization at this point. All right, this is arm specialization. My legs don't get anywhere near this volume because they don't need it. My legs grow off of low volume quite well, actually, or moderate volumes. But this was all hard work. So that was kind of the name of the game. This wasn't just volume just for pump. These were hard sets with burn, a lot of stuff to failure. and then finished up with one final set. Biceps were actually feeling good. I'm surprised they were able to make it through this and keep the work capacity. That I'm really happy about. But not much else to say. You guys can watch the last set here. Pretty happy with today's workout, so I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.